Do you have a retirement dream? Maybe it's a black hole at the moment. Oh, we're going to ignite something here. Dale Bolton was contemplating buying a sailboat and heading out to sea. He never imagined that he and his wife Linda would create a cross-Canada business from scratch and use the profits to help orphans in Africa. This is an amazing story. I love it. One missions trip to Africa, Malawi specifically, in 2004, changed the trajectory of your lives, Dale and Linda.
It certainly did. We heard a tape about the fact that there were 40 million orphans in Africa, went to Malawi, the poorest country in the world, and came back to Canada thinking, what can we do to help? What can we do to make a difference? And it was shortly after that that my younger sister actually discovered natural calm magnesium that transformed her life for migraines, and myself for insomnia and fibromyalgia. So I started importing it from the United States. It was only available there, and selling it to the natural health stores, and all of a sudden the business started to grow. God started to bless it. And Dale and I decided at that point that we wanted to give the profits to help the extreme poor. And initially we were giving the money to Hope for the Nations, and they were using it to build orphanages and schools and drill water wells. And then we went to Kenya, and my husband came up with the most amazing idea to help end extreme poverty through sustainable organic gardening and natural medicine.
Well, Dale, you actually took a course, didn't you, in Kenya?
Yeah, it was interesting. After pastoring for a number of years,
both of you ordained ministers.
Yeah, we had never considered starting a business. It was something that Linda always wanted to do. But when she started this business and we committed the profits to our projects in Africa, we actually toured a lot of different projects. And everywhere we went, we could not find one orphan care organization that was growing anything. And the growing conditions were perfect. So I grew up on
isn't that the tragedy?
It is a tragedy.
That you've got this beautiful countries
Yep.
on that continent with, as you observed, great soil conditions, and importing what percentage of their food?
In Kenya, they import about 80% of their food. Now, the difficulty is, you see, I grew up on a farm. My dad's 88. We just were down in Chatham visiting them, and he and I were talking about how he's going to do this garden this year. Up to this year, they were growing a third of their own food, and I tell my dad, I can't take you to Kenya because it is, we're challenged to grow stuff 4 to 5 months here, and they can grow the most amazing food all year round.
All year.
And so I kept on getting more and more frustrated. I said, God, what are we going to do here? This is, these kids are eating really poor food, and but yet they could grow anything. And so, we just really felt that we were supposed to start an organization that would grow organic food. So that's where Organics for Orphans came in.
Organics for Orphans.
Yeah. And I went and took a course there because in the tropics, growing food is different. And so we looked at how to do a sustainable form of organic garden there. It's called biointensive. And actually recruited some of the staff from the college that I went to.
You met a man named Boaz.
Boaz. He's
That's pretty key.
He's my brother. And we just started doing these 5-day workshops. I took the 1-month course, understood how to do it there because, I had some background growing up on a farm and always gardening myself. And we started doing these 5-day workshops all over the place. The problem is every organization we did set up a gardening program for them. There were 3 other organizations that wanted us to do it. And so we knew we had to scale it. We knew we had to get bigger.
You opened it up to partnership for other ministries to take part.
They would see the gardens. They would see the gardens and they would say, well, wow, in one case, there's a couple years later, there was an organization in Zambia that were literally like 100 kids, new kids were showing up every 2 to 3 weeks. And they couldn't feed them. They couldn't, and so we had just trained a guy from Zambia, and the last time we heard, he was feeding 2,000 kids, and they had cut their costs by 92%.
Oh, this is just so brilliant. Let's go to the pictures because we can get some insights into why this is so wonderful as we see it happening.
Yeah, this is our training program, our seminar location in western Kenya. That's an example of about 20 different people that have come for our 1-month seminar. This is an example of our 5-day workshop where we go into the most remotest areas and do a 5-day organic gardening and natural medicine program.
You can tell that it's mainly women that are the caregivers of the 57 million orphans that are now in Kenya. And we teach sustainability. So these mamas can actually become independent through learning about organic gardening and natural medicine.
through our company, we actually provide the tools, seeds, fencing, and an organic trainer that stays with them.
That's kale, isn't it?
That's kale there.
Kale. They call it skoomawiki, and what we teach them is that kale has 1,000 nutrient density points, and white rice or cornmeal has approximately 11 to 40 nutrient density points. So we're trying to teach these people how to eat organic food, which really helps them eat healthy.
And rice and maize meal, pap, shima, nshima, all the different countries have a different name for it, is the staple.
Yeah.
In some places, there are no vegetables, at least in my experience in Africa. It's a treat if you have vegetable on the side.
Yeah.
Pap, that maize meal is...
It is their
diet.
staple. But the problem is that they would eat that morning, noon, and night. And many of the children and the mamas have never had a raw leaf, for example, and don't understand how to grow it or how to incorporate it in their diet. So we teach them about nutrition. We teach them natural medicine like Artemisia, which is amazing for prevention of malaria. We also teach them about moringa, which is the world's most nutritious leaf that only grows where there's extreme poverty, which is really a God thing. And we teach them income generation, how to utilize the food and how to grow food and then raise money with the food that they grow.
Tremendous.
So all along the way, there's this thing of just saying, God, what do we do here? Because first we saw that the kids were eating really poor food. Then we saw how difficult it is. You know, we love, we don't like our cold winter. We had a terrible winter last year, but it kills back all our bugs. But in a tropical country, they just keep morphing and morphing and getting stronger. So in Africa, you could get cholera, typhus, TB, pneumonia, dysentery, malaria. That's not even talking about HIV. And so then we said, well, God, these people need not just to grow white rice or corn or even grains. They need something that will supercharge their immune system. Yeah. And so...
literally fighting back disease.
Exactly.
Yes.
And what we found in that is we found that, hey, your body is fearfully and wonderfully made. And when we got into talking to naturopathic doctors and holistic nutritionists, they said that your body can be bulletproof if you can feed it the right things.
You know, we need to hear this in the West.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, we are learning more and more
Yep.
that we need to change our Western diet.
Exactly.
I just love how something wonderful has come out of trouble. I mean, if your sister hadn't been almost fighting for her life,
That's right.
in her health, you wouldn't have brought in this magnesium, which is making such a difference.
Yeah.
And
Well, God orchestrated the whole thing right from the very beginning, right from day one. He opened up the door for me to be able to get the exclusive distribution rights for Natural Calm in Canada. We had just been to Malawi, had been impacted by the poverty there, which was absolutely shocking.
Just all
and
came
it
together.
all came together.
I have to add one more note, though, because we will be hearing your personal story, Linda, which is captured in your book, In the Light of God's Love, walking out of brokenness into wholeness, something you're helping people do in Africa, specifically orphans. But your own story, well, it says a true story of God's incredible love, mercy, and grace. Brokenness precedes wholeness.
It certainly
And
does, yes.
through a personal story that is full of trouble, God equipped you. God made you ready to be his instrument. Former nurse as well.
Yes.
Used to teach nursing as well as practice it. It's just, God does all things well.
He does. I stand in amazement of his kindness and his love and grace.
I just wonder, Dale, you said, now I can say that you're over 60,
Yep.
and you say you feel like a kid.
Yes.
You are so in the center of God's plan, so energizing.
It's a thing you can't outgive God, and this thing of we feel, we came to give something to Africa, but they've given us so much more. And we've actually learned how to add 10 healthy years to our own lives in this whole process. And so we teach a 5-day natural medicine course, all kinds
Here.
of, in Africa, we
Just
have a
in
5-day natural medicine course. We do workshops here as well.
We've done workshops for churches.
Yeah, some of us need to
But
go
there's
with that.
such a God-honoring message in creation. And to see, I go into these villages and I say, it's always been God's purpose that you would have enough food and that you would always be healthy. And once you understand the principles of organic gardening, it's amazing.
That's why you call it the green gospel.
Exactly.
What about that sailboat, Dale?
Well, perhaps when I'm 80 or 90, that might happen. But we're just having so much fun right now on the ground, which surprised me,
Great teamwork. Your dad must be so proud.
He is. And
you're a farmer dad.
I know, and we have so much fun together just, talking about all kinds of things.
I wonder, I'm just going to come back to that retirement theme, or maybe no handfuls of purpose. Maybe you're just frustrated, wondering, what's the purpose of your life? What does God want to do with me? If you're open, He might have an amazing surprise for you. Could we pray with you about that? Our prayer lines are always available. And God says He's planned for every stage of your life. Psalm 139. So He's not scratching His head, oh, what am I going to do with him or her? I hope you're excited. I hope you've been inspired. And let's pray, because great things are happening. 040, Organics for Orphans.
It's gotten into 20 countries now. It's amazing.
It is.
And, we had no idea this was going to happen.
Well, more about Linda's story at our e-store. This book is available there, and I want to encourage you to keep an eye open for this face, because Linda will be appearing as one of our 10,000 reasons to celebrate God's goodness. 100 Huntley Street has a significant part in this story.
It does.
I'll have to watch for it.